Welcome to A Fine Podcast with your hosts, Amanda and
Joseph, yes. Welcome. Welcome. We are here to talk about Dancing with the Stars Dedication Night.
yes, season 34, episode 5, Dedication Night. And what a touching, beautiful night it was.
Yeah, we had a lot of dedications to some nice people and
There was a lot of nice dedications to a lot of nice people. Well, this episode was so special and so nice, and all the stars and the professional dancers got to dedicate songs to the people in the stars' lives that they care about. So there are a lot of emotional stories. It was very special. And we also saw Kim Johnson as the guest judge, the fourth judge.
yeah, it was the first time to have a guest judge so far this time around, and it's nice to have the fourth insight and up the points a little bit. So
Yes. And also, she had really great feedback for the dancers to take. So she described things really well. And I think she just really enhanced the judging table because she showed people, how to posture things correctly, or she put the pen between her fingers at one time and talked about that. And so she really cared to say nice things, but also like, here's some feedback you can actually take and work on with some descriptors.
well, that's what. Yeah, I mean, I did like that she was very with that. I mean, she's a guest judge, but I would expect that. Well, and the nice thing too is she's a former pro and she has knowledge where like some of the other, not to bash them, but just where they've had some of the guests who are not dance specific, right?
Let's talk
They
about the
just kind of
craziest judge. You know who it's going to be.
yeah, Gene Simmons.
Yes, Gene Simmons. When they had was that last year?
Yeah.
Last year they had Gene Simmons, and he was like all over the place with his comments. And
Well, it's just there's not going to be much constructive feedback with the whole thing, but anyway, so it's just nice that she's able to add some, and she was I thought she was very informative for them with everyone, so they have
even more
stuff to
so
work on next week.
than the regular judges in some aspect. So
Right, which I mean I get, because I guess the regular judges, they kind of have their personalities and they have to go crazy sometimes with certain things, but I think at the end of the day, right, that's what they want to have, that the feedback of knowing what to do better for next week. So.
yeah, so when someone just says great job, that's nice, but also where's my feedback?
Right, or if there says this was great and then I have no bad feedback and then the score is really low, that doesn't make any sense, or lower
Right.
than what you thought it was going to be. That's
Well,
confusing.
If the score is anything other than a 10, tell me something I can work on, even if it's small, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But what blew our minds was we saw Robert from Shark Tank in the audience, and we didn't know this was Kim's husband. We need to go back and watch some early Dancing with the Stars stuff.
Yeah, well, right. I mean, we didn't start consecutively watching until season 31,
But this was like beginning season.
but yeah, she was way early. She's like one of the original apparently,
Right.
but like when the show first started.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I did know at least, well, I guess just from flashbacks or maybe just little YouTube clips or whatever, but her and him were partnered in season 20, but
So Robert was on season 20.
yeah, and I guess that's how they met and they
Fell in
continue.
love.
Yes, yeah, thank you, and so forth. But yeah, that was news to us.
I didn't know it until Robert and Kim were on Joey's podcast, the Dancing with the Stars podcast. So then I had to rush and tell you because we're like, why are they zooming in on Robert so much?
Yeah, well, and then I first thought, oh, well, this is all run by ABC. It's just the cross pollination of their shows, but no, obviously there's a little more of a reason for
Yeah.
Robert to be there. So
All right, so kicking off dedication night, we had Andy and Emma, and they performed a salsa to Jump in the Line. And this was honoring Andy's daughter, Cornelia. And it was a beautiful story about how he adopted Cornelia. He's her dad, and she's this adorable little girl that looked so excited to dance with her dad. And it was just a really cute song and moment for Andy.
yeah, no, I mean it was a nice time together with them, watching them, and kind of having her, fun in the spotlight, and yeah, I think all around it was. I mean, yeah, it's just been a good. It's a nice time to watch them, you know.
It was really nice, but he did make a comment like she was better at the dance moves than me automatically. She picked up on everything faster than me, and she made less mistakes than I did. So,
Yeah, I don't really.
and that's really probably what happened because I mean, Andy, I think he's just at this point where, I mean, he got the scores were all sixes for Andy. So 24 out of 40.
Yeah, so I mean, this has now been, I think, the last 3 times he's had all sixes. So, which I mean, there's been a little bit of improvement, but I don't think there's been enough to. Well, I didn't know actually whether they were gonna do this week if like the 6 was gonna be like the new 7, where all 7s was pretty much like bottom of the barrel, or if they would keep the 6s.
And then when they
but
flash
did.
that 6 card, you're like, oh.
Yeah, which I mean, he's gotten a little bit better, right? But it just, I mean, I don't think it is watching his compared to, some of the others, right? Who Danielle or Jen, who got, some 7s, right? I would say theirs was still a little bit better than his. So I think the 6 is appropriate. But
What do you think of the salsa technique?
I mean, it's just very choppy. Like it's just, you see him taking like a step forward, step back, step forward, step back. Like it's not this. He's not
Flowing.
dancing with it, and it's more of just these kind of steps of doing the motions, but not really adding the fluidity and dance movement to, kind of be captivated by it.
So Kim said, I can relate to you and Emma because I once had Jerry Springer as my dance partner and we just kept going and going and we had the bottom scores every week and you just have a way of connecting with people. And then Bruno in the background goes, yeah, we just couldn't get you guys off.
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, no, I mean that was a fair point. And the other thing I meant to mention as well was, when they first started to, they got way off on the timing. They got really bad. I mean, they fixed it up a little bit later, but that first part was they really got off time.
Oh, and that's what Carrie Ann said too, that
Right.
he showed improvement. It was such a joyful dance, but the musicality was way off in the beginning. And then Bruno says, always entertaining, not always on time. And then Derek said, joyful performance, playful, full of love.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that was a good summation of what happened.
So, really loving story. Fun to watch, but I don't know how much longer this can last.
Yeah, I mean, it's just well, I guess it'll be interesting to see if we have a double elimination next week or not. They didn't say at the end of this one, but since, no one got eliminated, but if so, then I would probably say he's probably going to go home because I don't think the popular vote can pull him up enough to, especially since, at this point, right? Like he was at least 3 or 4 points behind the next person. So, but anyway, I guess we'll see. If it's a single, then I don't know. He could maybe stick around a little bit longer. But
what if he goes to the finale? Do you think Popular Vote could take him to the finale?
No.
How far did it take Jerry Springer? We need to go back and watch.
Yeah, that's true. But
Well, remember the clip we saw of Jerry Springer? We probably saw like a very short clip, and he moved similar to Andy.
well, I think he was worse. I think Andy's much better than
Oh, like,
Springer was. But
and back then the scores were lower too. I remember they would give like 2s and 3s.
well, and that's too. That's well, because I think he got one of the lowest of all time.
Oh,
I think that's because we saw some clip or something with that. But I don't remember. But you're right, and that is just like as a side note, like one interesting thing seeing over the years how much more like lenient I think the judges have become.
so Jerry Springer definitely worse than Andy.
Yeah.
So next we have Robert and Whitney, and they danced a contemporary to "You'll Be in My Heart," honoring Robert's mother, Terry. And this was so beautiful and such a full circle moment because Bindi did a dance honoring her father, and now Robert's doing a dance honoring Mother Terry. And this was just so nice because he really took the time to reflect on how much effort Terry put into being there for him and his sister, and how she was always a constant in his life. And he lost his dad when he was 2 years old, and she continued to show up for him every day and make sure to incorporate elements of his dad in his life so he'd always know who he was. And it was just really touching to hear him talk about it. And then there was a clip of him and Whitney crying together. They're emotional talking about it. I mean, this was the most emotional dance of the night.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I think everyone was kind of anticipating that. So, but no, I mean, it was a very, very well put. I mean, I think it did a great job with the dedication aspect. I think that because right, contemporaries is one that's, kind of outside of ballroom. And I mean, I think the main thing with that is just the expression of it. I mean, it's a lot more artistry than technical, I would say. I mean, there are some aspects of it, but it's a lot more of this artistic movement. But no, I think they did a very, very good job of like painting the picture, and you could kind of really feel, the different emotions being portrayed in the dance. So
Really quick, Terry said in a little interview beforehand that it was so nice to hear Robert say that she lifted him up in life because she sees it as the opposite, because her kids are the reason she got out of bed each morning and could function after losing her husband. So I thought that was neat.
yeah, right. Well, and I think it is one of those things, right? Especially with the loss of someone, I think it kind of brings the family closer and kind of realizes or shows, the kind of dependence on each other to keep going.
Yeah. So she seems like a wonderful mother, and also she's raised 2 amazing children as well, and the whole family's just beautiful and delightful and kind people with a meaningful purpose in life. And you could really see that in Robert, and it was just beautiful, the whole thought to dedicate this dance to his mother. And what Whitney came up with was beautiful, and I really loved the ending camera movement when they incorporated Terry. I feel like that was the only part she really needed to be in, right? Was at the very end, the camera did a spin around, and instead of Whitney, it was Terry standing there with Robert, and they had a nice emotional moment hugging together. I just thought that was really great camera work and the way they incorporated that.
Oh, well, that whole effect was very cool. I mean, that was a really cool way to end it. And I think it was just the right amount, right? I mean, and some of them, we'll see who they incorporated their person more so into the dance, and I think that kind of probably, hindered it to a degree. I think, just a little bit, think was just a nice element to add, but too much of it, I think, kind of pulled apart. But I think this one was great.
I think
And
it was perfect.
the effect was
Yeah.
just really cool of what they did. Yeah, the whole choreo of this was very very orchestrated nicely.
So then that's at the very end, and that hits you And then really makes you emotional to see Terry and Robert together at the very end, like that final impact. And then it's time for the judges' comments, and everybody's in tears and crying, and it's hard for everybody to talk. And then Bruno says, "You gave us all your heart and soul. All I can say is this was true expression of everlasting love." And then Robert goes up and hugs Bruno because Bruno's tearing up, and that was a beautiful moment. And then Carrie Ann says if she ever had kids, she would have liked them to be just like Robert. And you're so honest, open, you're just always connecting with the audience. It was truly beautiful. And then Derek was probably crying the most, and he was fighting back tears. And he says, "The love I have for your family. Thank you. I love you, man. I'm so proud of you." And this is like a full circle moment for Derek too, right? Because Derek was Bindi's partner and went through all the emotions with her of, incorporating Steve and just getting to know her and her family too. So years ago, he's already made great bonds with Terry and Bindi and little Robert back in the day.
Yeah,
So-
right. No, absolutely. Yeah.
And then Kim says, Terry, I need to come talk to you to figure out how to raise such great kids because you have. So really beautiful comments by the judges. And then the scores. Let's talk about the scores because I was really mad after this. So, 3 9s, absolutely deserving. And then Carrie Ann, after saying the beautiful comment about if she would have had kids, they would be just like Robert. Then she gives an 8 without any explanation why she gave the 8. And this was such a beautiful dance.
Yeah, well, this is kind of where I think it's got to be frustrating for the dancers, right? If you see that, or even, right, there's this group consensus, right? Like everybody else was giving a 9, and then there was this 8, but there was nothing said as to why that was given.
Say why. If you're going to score lower, say why. Right?
Yeah, right.
Like, oh, you're off here, off there. No one said anything about that. And there wasn't anything obvious off. So why, Carrie Ann? Why?
Yeah, it was definitely, I think, an easy all 9, but
I think it deserved all 9s. But
yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. It'd be interesting to learn or know why.
yeah, it would be
8,
interesting. Well, I went from like crying to then outrage because of that. But anyway, it was a beautiful dance, and he still scored high up there. So that was good. So next we have Elaine and Alan, and they danced a foxtrot to "This Will Be an Everlasting Love," which is a song from The Parent Trap. And something beautiful about this night too. Well, first they were honoring her best friend of 30 years from The Parent Trap, her co-star Lisa Ann Walter, and they also had Dennis Quaid in the audience, who played the father in The Parent Trap. And someone pointed this out in comments, but he was wearing like the outfit he wore in Parent Trap too. So it was like another full circle moment here, which it was so nice that he came to support his friends. So that was touching. I loved what Alan came up with for this dance too. I think Lisa Ann was incorporated a lot, but it was such a cute dance at the end to have Elaine and Lisa together, and then with Alan in the middle. And the way Elaine brought Lisa Ann in was with the bell, because in the movie she used to ring the bell to get Chessie's attention.
Yeah, that was fun how they added that to make a little ode back. But
yeah, I thought it was very crafty.
this one was, yeah, because this one had a lot of the dedication in it. And
it's an example of two opposites, right? Robert, Terry was just in the very end. And then Elaine, a lot of Lisa Ann.
yeah. And this one, I thought, Alan did, I think, a great job with having, because I do think the kind of the tri-dancer setup can be awkward if you don't really orchestrate it well. I feel like he did a pretty good job with the way of doing that. I think the having the side by side and kind of switching, keeping the movement, I think was important. And this was a foxtrot too, which I think you could have a little bit of a break or of him switching from Elaine to Lisa, but I think this was definitely probably out of the ones that had incorporated the person the most in it. This was my favorite
Yeah.
out of the bunch because I think he made it work as best as you could with it. So
Yeah. It was just like a happy, joyful song. And then he put a lot of joy and happiness into the incorporation of the three of them together.
yeah,
So that was nice. And the relationship that Elaine and Lisa Ann have is so nice too. Close friendship, 30 years. Elaine was an only child, and she mentioned when her mother died, Lisa Ann was the first phone call she made. And Lisa Ann always told her, you may be an only child, but you have me, you'll never be alone. So, really nice, beautiful friendship between the two of them. So, the judges, Bruno said he enjoyed the dance, Carrie Ann praised the performance. Derek noted some shoulder and arm placement issues, and Kim mentioned some shoulder and arm placement issues. So, Derek and Kim gave good constructive criticism. And then that showed in the scores too, because they scored 2 8s and then 2 7s, and the 7s were Derek and Kim. And Alan looked outraged by this when they were announcing.
yeah. I mean, I wasn't so. I think when having the like Lisa, it was more distracting of kind of watching just purely Elaine with the movement, but going
Maybe
back and when
that is true. Because you're so distracted. You're like, wow, Lisa can dance, and wow, she's doing so much movement in here. So your eyes are getting like distracted watching it the first time.
yeah, and there's this other person too, right? Yeah, where when Derek brought that up, and then they did the little flash back during the dance. I did, it was a fair point because yeah, I think her shoulders were a little too relaxed.
And that's what we need to be doing in the competition is judging her performance too, right? But you're totally right. I didn't think about that because I focused so much on Alan and Lisa Ann and everybody happy together that I totally
Well,
wasn't
there's
honing
just
in
so
on
much
that.
going on with it too, with the him switching back and forth, or then having Elaine and Lisa behind on her back, or Lisa with Elaine on her back, and so it was even hard to kind of see some of those things. But
Right.
but I
Yeah.
mean, I think they did a good job of still staying focused on what they had to do at the end of the day. So,
True.
but no, I agreed with it. I think it was fair to mention that.
So next we had Whitney and Mark, and they did a contemporary to Heal to honor Whitney's husband, Connor. And this was a fun group, the three of them together. Connor seems fun, and it seemed like him and Mark had fun together, and because they filmed some fun TikToks. But Mark put together a beautiful dance for the two of them, and it was important for Whitney to honor her husband because she says that they dated for 4 months and then they got married, and he gave up his job so they could move to LA, and he takes care of the kids and does so much for her, and they're best friends. And I thought it was really cool to see him dance too in it. Like he was pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, they had a good routine all around, and
I like the idea of Mark playing the thing that's trying to keep them apart while they're trying to stay close together too. I thought that was good, like artistic element to the story.
yeah, I mean, I think that was it was a fun way to incorporate himself as being the third person involved, and it's kind of a fun visual thing to see. So
Yeah. It's a beautiful song. You could tell how much the dance meant to Whitney and her husband, and I thought it was really touching. But the first thing I noticed was, that she's off and the counting, and her and Mark are jumping at different times and doing things at different times, and it was really obvious towards the middle.
yeah, there was. I mean, this was probably their, as far as the dances watching so far, probably the lowest rated, I would say, out of their bunch. And I mean, it's a contemporary thing, but
Had she nailed that part, I think it would have been all nines.
yeah, I mean, there was some points, right? Yeah, like the synchronicity of the jump there was a little off, and kind of some other aspects. But I mean, I wouldn't be worried about this in the grand scheme because I think contemporary is just so separated from like what the other ones are like that she'll be right back at it next week with something great.
So Bruno loved the performance. He said the drama and the twists and the turns. Wow. He said it was an ambitious routine and there was a tiny mistake which was unusual for her. And Carrie Ann says she cried during the routine but pointed out some small mistakes and then praised Mark for the choreo. And then Derek pointed out some small mistakes, such as her being out of sync in the side by side. Then he praised Connor for dancing. And he said it was a very challenging routine, which I think this is where a lot of the higher scores came from, is how challenging the routine was and the ability to do the actual routine.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it definitely was not I think, an easy go around. I mean, that was fair to, for having some struggles, but at least it was a, challenging routine, not some easy thing that they were having mistakes on. So.
Yeah, so Kim gave positive feedback. She said it's special and she loved it. And then she got 3 8s and 1 9, and Carrie Ann gave the 9. Carrie Ann's the oddball out again.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, watching this whole night, how she was always opposite of what the rest of them are. The three of them, or maybe Bruno did one time, but
yeah, Bruno sometimes does it, but
yeah, as far as like tonight, though, it was always pretty much Carrie Ann was always separated. If they weren't on the same, she was different. But I think there was one time Bruno was separated from them. But yeah, from a majority standpoint of why is she so? I guess she's looking at different things than what they're looking at.
Well, online, people are saying she's in a game of favorites and she has something against Robert and loves Whitney. So,
I mean, it was interesting, I guess, to see her give a 9 in this case, where I didn't really see any blatant mistakes that Robert had made, where like you did have the synchronicity issue.
Something that
Whitney.
anybody's play night could see was the mistake with Whitney.
Right. So how did that?
Right. How does it make sense?
Right. So yeah, that didn't make sense. But
on TikTok, there's this guy that does this statistical analysis by how many points off Carrie Ann is from the other judges, and we have to watch it. I saved it for us to watch. I haven't looked at it completely, but there's a science going on. People are trying to determine what is happening. All right, next we have Jen and Jan, and they danced a Viennese waltz to Rescue. And they honored Jen's mother, Maria. And this was really nice. So we learned that Jen's mother moved to the U.S. when she was 26 from Ecuador. And she did so much for Jen growing up. And Jen didn't truly appreciate everything that her mom did until she became a mother and realized how hard it was. So this was a very special, touching dance between the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, this was a very nice. It was nice to watch and see the interaction. I mean, as far as the flow of a Viennese waltz, having to stop and switch, and I didn't really like that because, I don't know, for me, the Viennese waltz is just this continuous circle. It's just, throughout the whole thing, it's just this never ending. And it's very easy, I think, to make something ajar and kind of take you aback, and those transitions of having to incorporate her, I didn't really like to see that, but I think that's just maybe a personal thing. But from the other side, yeah, I mean, it was nice to see her incorporated some, but I kind of felt like it took away a little bit from things. But
yeah, that's true. I think I was so wrapped up in emotion the first time I watched it, and then the second time I saw a lot of those things you're talking about. It really takes like 2 times sometimes to fully understand, all the elements of what is happening in these dances. And I mean, the camera work sometimes needed to be a little bit better. Like you could see her mom in the background where they could have kind of maybe done a different shot or pulled away, or
yeah,
I don't know. The camera work was like on point with a lot of the dances, but then it was like awkward parts there. But yeah, maybe it's Jan too, just needing some extra practice at all this stuff.
Well, some of it, yeah, could be the choreo, but I think all in all, trying to add, especially for him, right, being his first one, right, maybe he's trying to even figure out what is a good balance of having that person where
Right.
what's too much versus too little, and I don't know. I just think for like a Viennese waltz, right? It's just this constant, and I don't know. I just don't like to see.
Broken up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think it's just one of those really fragile dances to if you break the movement that you're in without keeping the flow, then it takes away from the whole thing.
Yeah. So Kim said it was beautiful to see, but gave her pointers on her footwork, saying it needs more grounding and technique. And Bruno says there's nothing like mother's love, really. You express that. It's very beautiful, but please correct your fluidity in the upcoming weeks, which that's some of what you were talking about,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then Carrie Ann said that was the most passionate dance you've performed yet. You really threw yourself into it. And Derek said the routine was graceful and beautiful. But I think Carrie Ann also got lost in the emotions of it because the scores, Carrie Ann gave her an 8 and then she got 3 7s. So here, Carrie Ann standing out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess she's just looking for different things. At first, I thought, well, but I don't know, unless the guest judge was just sitting by Derek and Bruno or something. But I don't know. I was gonna say maybe as a female judge, she's looking at different things versus like the male judges. But
I think Kim was more on point, and then Carrie Ann was just like, wow. I don't know. It's just not
right. But I
reined
just
in.
didn't. Yeah, I mean that's not really valid because
She
think of
does
how
this every week.
Kim
so.
was So.
All right, so next we had Dylan and Daniela, and they danced a contemporary to Rewrite the Stars by Zac Efron. And this was to honor Dylan's little sister, Olivia, and to also honor his brother, Zach, with the song. So that was an interesting spin. We thought maybe he'd do a High School Musical song. He should have done a High School Musical song on Disney night.
Well, then when he gave the little from Disney, right? He was like, "Oh, well, don't worry, I've got a little sneak peek, or something exciting for next week if you show up." I guess there was like, maybe he's dedicated to his brother and he'll do bet on it or something. But
Because his brother bet on him.
yeah, but I mean, this was a fun strategical way, I think, to
Incorporate Zach.
to kind of have both of his siblings involved with this. And
So this was very emotional. And he tells a story about how he wasn't expecting to have a sister so late in life, that he's 33 and she's 5. So there's a big age gap between the two of them. And then he said that Zach took care of him when he was younger and was selfless. So he wants to be that way for Olivia. And then they interviewed Olivia and she said she feels free with Dylan and he's her best friend.
yeah, and I mean, I think this was a nice dance to incorporate her, and I think this had a good balance of the dedication person, right? Like a little bit in the beginning, a little bit in the end.
She was great, too.
But it flowed. Daniela made it flow in a nice way where it didn't feel interrupted when they had to, come onto the scene or leave the scene, etc. So
yeah, it was a really beautiful dance. And Dylan was able to lift Daniela up and hold her up. And you can really see how he's been improving in his dance technique, too.
yeah, I mean, this one, I guess, was like you just kind of had to watch it twice because it definitely, I don't know, seeing it first where they gave all 9s, it didn't feel like that. But I guess you kind of see it again, and then you kind of saw like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess he has improved quite a bit since the start of things.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, it seemed justifiable to give that.
So all 4 judges really praised his emotional depth and technical growth. And they said he's improving every week. And Bruno says, the routine was very technically difficult and he executed it beautifully. And Carrie Ann says that the performance was great. Derek said that he had great improvement. He's a great brother and he can dance. And Kim said, I know the routine was very difficult and you did great on the execution. So he scored all 9s, which is the highest score of the season so far.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty shocking to see that. I would not have put him as being the first all-9er on this.
It was a shocker.
Well, I think Robert got robbed, but
Robert definitely got
but
robbed.
Dylan was definitely not on my card.
I think Robert and Dylan should have received the same score. And you know where the differentiating number was with
Yeah.
Carrie Ann.
Yeah.
Robert should have been right there up there with you, Dylan.
But yeah, I mean,
Justice
he's
for
really,
Robert. Justice for
Nah.
Robert.
I mean, yeah, though Dylan's really kind of coming out as well, and he's showing he's here to.
He's a dark horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has a lot of potential. We'll see what happens. So next we had Jordan and Ezra, and they danced a Viennese waltz to Daughters, and they honored Jordan's father, Timothy. And this was really nice. So a nice moment between father and daughter. And there was an emotional moment with Ezra at the beginning when he was first talking to Jordan about this dance. And he said, you know, I don't have a father figure in my life. And it's just so nice to see you with yours and how close you two are. And then they kind of had this moment where they said, you know, Jordan's dad accepts Ezra in too. I just thought it was sweet how Ezra tried to make this moment so sweet and nice for her and her father, even though Ezra doesn't have the same relationship with his dad.
Yeah, no,
So-
absolutely. I mean, I think, and then too, of really even making, you know, him do the whole dance, really. I mean, Ezra kind of took a back seat in this whole thing.
He did a lot. Timothy really got out there.
Yeah, it was a very interesting play of Ezra to do that. And I mean, I think it was fine because I think it is almost better, right? It's either they go full force and they're like the whole thing, or they're very tiny bit. Because I just having to do the transitioning between, you know, the partners, I think just takes away from the whole thing. But this one I didn't really feel a whole lot of that. And I mean, you saw one mistake, right, where he took a step and he kind of lost his balance a little bit. But I mean, overall, that was very nice. It was pretty much graceful for the most part. And
He showed up for his daughter, which is the most important thing. So you can really see how much the two of them care for each other. And it was very special for them to have this father-daughter dance together.
yeah,
So that was really nice. He kept talking about how proud he was of his daughter. So Carrie Ann says that the dance was profound. Derek got choked up, noting that the dance made him excited to one day dance with his own child. He was really emotional about this, I think, because his wife's pregnant and he's getting emotional relating to the stories.
yeah.
And then some people are saying he may have revealed the gender of his baby because I think he almost started to say his daughter. I don't think the gender's known yet to the public, but
Yeah. Well, and I think too, right? I mean, it would be to dance, you know.
well, yeah, even that comment, like you'd be dancing with your
Right.
daughter, right?
Yeah.
So, and then Kim said that this was a great trio dance, and she commended Timothy for performing a majority of the dance, which is, I mean, fantastic that he did that. And for Ezra for taking the risk on this dance, incorporating Timothy so much, because that is a huge risk taking that. And she says it paid off. And she said that Jordan has the determination to go to the end, which was a really great compliment. And then Bruno says that she just keeps improving week after week. Everything just keeps getting better and better. And then she scored 4 8s.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that. I think that was a good score.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, she's now has been, you know, consistently doing very well each week now, which is great to see.
Yeah, so it was good. So next we have Scott and Riley, and they danced a foxtrot to Parallel by Scott Hoying, a song by Scott, which was great. I have to go and listen to this song after too, because I really liked what I heard. And this was a dance dedicated to Scott's husband, Mark. And we also learned on this night that they are expecting their first child. So he made the announcement on this night too, which was really nice and beautiful and something that they've been hoping for a long time. So
Yeah.
as we saw in the rehearsal footage, Mark comes in and he's super happy and touched and honored that Scott's doing this song about him. And he's one of the most, happiest people around. And he's so emotional and nice and just thought the world of everybody at Dancing with the Stars. And even Alfonso says, you're just the greatest, happiest person in the world, Mark, because he always has a smile that's beaming from ear to ear. So it was just really sweet to see Mark up there and getting his dedication that he deserved. And Riley put a wonderful dance together for the two of them, which was nice. And one of my favorite things was Scott singing at the beginning of the dance. He had the microphone and sang before he passed it off, and then he went into his dance, which that really showcases Scott's true talent, his vocal ability.
Yeah, it was nice to hear the sing again. Remind you of the Pentatonics group. And
It's almost like you're at a mini Pentatonics concert before he passed the mic. But I thought this was a really nice dance, and I like how it ended with the two of them on the floor, mimicking their earliest times together, where they used to lay on the floor and talk for hours, he said. So
yeah, so that was Scott's goal to recreate that. And yeah, I mean, all in all, the dance I think was done well. I mean, I think he's still improving. It's not like leaps and bounds great, but I mean, I think he's still moving in the right direction. And
I think he's improving. You can see so much just like dedication to the process and improvements. I mean, think of how far he's come since week 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think some of it may just be the nervousness, because I think he's just more, clearly much more comfortable singing versus dancing, and after week after week, I think he's kind of getting more comfortable with that and not being so nervous, because I think he is like almost a little bit of reservedness with it, but you're kind of seeing that break down every week, which is great. And so having more fun with the movement side of things instead. But yeah.
It was a good foxtrot. It was interesting to see that dance with Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's still moving up the chain, which is a
good
the
thing.
way to be going.
Yeah.
Rather go up than down.
So Bruno said that this was better than before. He had good lines, and then he gave some technical feedback about Scott's posture, and he said he tends to lean forward, but he's getting there. And then Carrie Ann said that the dance felt disjointed. He needs to match the lines more with Riley in rehearsals, and then commented on some posture issues. So it looks like just posture needs to be his next focus.
Yeah, which like I don't know. Carrie Ann seems to have like a kind of a attack on him.
I know, an unfair attack on him too.
It doesn't feel. Yeah, I don't know. Some of that maybe
disjointed.
A little bit,
what was disjointed about the dance too?
Yeah, that I didn't understand. That was weird. That seemed like a stretch of a comment. But
so Derek said he loved his song and he saw the effort and commitment to his frame. And Kim said the frame was great, and then gave a tip about his head being more straight and to drive more action across his standing leg to get him across the floor more. So good advice. And the scores. So he scored 2 8s and 2 7s, and the 7s were given by Carrie Ann and Kim. Carrie Ann and Kim.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann has her favorites, and it is not Scott.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like that.
But this was a beautiful dance and so much improvement. So I'm just really happy he's improving.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For sure.
So next dance. And this was one of the most anticipated dances. Danielle and Pasha. And they danced a jive to the Boy Meets World theme song to honor the one and only Mr. Feeney, a.k.a. Bill Daniels, who is 98 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he looks in pretty good shape for that age, to still be up and about, moving around, and even to really come from his home to
be there.
Yeah, to be at this whole performance and everything. I mean, that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and his wife's in the audience, and a lot of the Boy Meets World cast were there cheering them on and honoring Bill, which was touching and nice to see them all together now, still all these years later. And yeah, I mean, it took a lot of effort to have Bill there. So this must have been really important to Bill to show Danielle how much he cares for her. And I just thought that was beautiful that he had his appearance there. and on stage, all for Danielle. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it was very nice. And I'm sure it was a lot of the people who watched, Boy Meets World and everything was very, excited to see that happen. So,
yes, nostalgia
yeah.
all around. So Danielle says that she always looked up to Bill, and Bill always treated her with nothing but respect. And her and Bill had a real moment in the finale of Boy Meets World where they have this scene together where he says he's so proud of her and they tear up. And she said that was all real. We did it in one take together. And so, yeah, but the jam packed jive, I was like, how are they going to do this really fast paced jive and still have this be like a touching performance? And the touching part was that Mr. Feeney was there. I mean, that was the touching part.
But yeah, Jive was like, almost kind of interesting because like, whoa, wait a second, we've seen all these other, kind of these repeats, but it was very interesting. I think it was kind of refreshing to see that, but and I think too, right, like the dedication doesn't have to be like this more
Slow,
sorrowful or saddening moment. It could be happy. And I mean, we saw that with like Elaine and some of the other people.
That's
too.
true.
But,
Yeah, you're right.
But this one was more, it was like an upbeat, happy, but right, to kind of hit the good score, right? I think there is kind of this some of the pull at the heartstring or something really sad, or not sad, but but just more of a tragic thing, and right, kind of like Robert's case, or but adding that contemporary really kind of drives it home. But no, I think it was. I think for this, right, because it's exciting. Well, it was more about celebrating with Mr. Feeney and everyone, and I felt the drive was pretty good for it. I mean, the choreo was the incorporated Feeney was great, but yeah, the actual dancing part, it felt okay. I mean, it wasn't like really wow factor, but
I don't know if there was, like in Danielle's head, there's like a lot riding on this performance because of how special it was. And with the fast paced jive that like got into her head.
yeah, maybe she got a little more just entangled with kind of making sure the dedication was, proper for him. I mean, I think the song fits a jive because it is more of this upbeat song,
Right.
and that felt good. But
What did you think of Pasha's shaved face?
yeah, I was just about to say because I couldn't remember. Well, I was gonna say, why does he look so young all of a sudden? He must have shaved or something. But I guess it was like a combination of that, and then
The outfit.
yeah, it's very '90s outfit. Yeah, and it's so out of place, I think, too, right? Because the pro ballroom dancers always have like the elaborate, well, not elaborate, but kind of a particular style, right? Unless like it's Halloween night or or Alan, like with Disney, he likes to go crazy with his outfits or costumes sometimes. But
I think Danielle said someone said to him, "When are you changing into your clothes for tonight?" Like multiple times. Because he's just wearing like the t-shirt and jeans, so everybody just thought he wasn't dressed up yet.
Yeah, that's funny.
To your point.
Yeah, it's just so different to see it, right? Because it's generally like the high-waisted trousers with the low-cut shirt or something, but not the jeans and t-shirt with a flannel over top of that. But
He really did look like young Corey Matthews.
yeah, no, I mean he played well in the part of it.
So the judges said here, Kim, she said that made everybody's nostalgic hearts very happy. There's so much jive content in there. And she said Danielle's very effortless when she dances, but feels like she could have more attack in the extensions. And then Bruno said it was a wonderful number. She's a great performer, but there can be sharper execution. And then Carrie Ann says that was so nostalgic. It was kind of what we all needed. But all of your dances have become repetitive and they're all blending into one another and they don't look different. And then a lot of people booed from the audience. And she said there was issues with the choreography as well.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann, what is going on here? Come on. Harsh.
That seems like a pretty bold thing. I don't know. I mean, it's just her personal take, I guess. But I mean, I don't really get the feel that they're they're blending all together. I mean, there hasn't been one in her defense. There hasn't been one that's been like a really wow that kind of stands out of all the ones she's done. But I don't
But
think
they
they're
all look the
blending in.
same.
I guess it's maybe that's what she was trying to say more so. I guess there's just hasn't been one that's like
Like a wow factor.
right, here's been like this is your best dance of the season kind of comment or something. But because I mean, for the most part, I mean she's kind of been you know just kind of hunky dory in the middle and getting there, but just hasn't had a real breakthrough with any of the dances. Yet.
Right.
But
Yeah, that's true. And then Derek said it was lively and light and it was a proper jive. And then the scores 3 7s and 1 8 by Bruno. Her first 8 of the season, which she was really excited about.
yeah, this was the one that Bruno actually, which was nice. I mean, I think but he was the one
8.
separating from the crowd.
Right, right.
Well, and I think too, right? I think she is getting down on herself a little bit about, or at least having like the 2 weeks of all 7s.
So this should bring her spirits up a little bit.
Yeah, because you could tell, especially right when he gave the 8, that she finally had at least a sigh of relief to at least get an 8 from someone and move a little bit forward, because she's kind of plateaued a little bit. But
Yeah.
so hopefully maybe that'll give her some motivation or just morale to keep pushing forward in the next week.
Yeah, I know she was really excited about her first 8.
Yeah, she was
So.
very ecstatic.
Thank goodness for that. So come on, Danielle, push forward and let's move on to higher scores. It'd be great.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Something that stuck out to me and something I saw in the comments too from others, it was just like there was barely any like nod to Bill by the judges. Like no one talked to him, or I mean, he may have, not been able to, or he was like so far in the back he couldn't talk to them. I don't know. It just didn't seem like there was a lot of focus on Bill from the judge. Like they could have recognized him more.
Well, that's
Right.
true, because I guess they really did acknowledge all the other
Right.
dedicated people.
And they could have said like some comments about Bill and, what a magnificent thing for Bill to show up for you. And he's 98 and he's here in the ballroom with you. And what's your favorite thing about Bill? I don't know, just something more to make sure Feeney's recognized.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a good point that actually rang out, because they really didn't make any comment about him, where they pretty much always did somebody or
Right.
something about the other people. So
I
yeah,
just
that is a
thought
little weird.
that hurt a little bit when I watched it the second time. I'm like, how come they didn't say more about Mr. Feeney or more about like how magnificent it is that he's here and he is supporting? So
I wonder if maybe I don't know. Maybe they didn't.
maybe they
None
didn't
of the
want
judges watched Boy Meets World
Oh,
or
you
something.
think?
Maybe.
How could that be? Isn't Derek our age? Maybe he's a little.
I
bit
would say
older.
Derek would be the only one. Maybe I think the others are probably a little too old for
Well, Kim
Boy Meets
maybe.
World.
I don't. They could have seen it. It could have been on in the household. But how could you? Yeah. How could
Well, I
you?
think they knew of it, right? But I don't think they've got a connection, because they
Maybe.
didn't watch it in its entirety or really see how they heard about Mr. Feeney, right? But they didn't know really kind of the role he plays and kind
This
of
is bizarre though.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of grasping at a straw. I mean, I guess,
Yeah.
but that is kind of weird though, because
I mean, also something else that people said online, like Mr. Feeney, the character, and Bill playing that character encouraged so many people to become teachers in life. Like he inspired so many people in their careers too. So they could have acknowledged something there. I mean, this is a man that has affected generations of people. And they just didn't say like hardly anything.
yeah, I mean, that's still very, very bizarre.
I mean, he
regardless.
may have requested to not have been interviewed, right? Like maybe they wouldn't have brought him up and interviewed him, but they could have
right
said something, at least to Danielle about him. I don't know. So yeah.
Yeah.
That was one thing. But next we have Alex and Val, and they danced a contemporary to Sparks, and they honored Alex's younger sister, Isabel. So we learned that Alex's dad had a baby with somebody else, her new stepmom, and there was friction in the family first, and she didn't want to accept that there was another baby in the family because of her mom and dad splitting up until her stepmom handed her baby Isabel and for the first time. And now she's 12 and she thinks Alex is just the coolest big sister. So they have this nice relationship and she's kind of what brought their families back together and helped mend some things that were going on with their families. And I just thought that was really, it was a really neat perspective to see, right? Her half sister and now they're together and they love each other and the families love each other.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to show that, and or just to and kind of the development of Alex, and right first hearing about the situation, and then really being able, or then really having a connection with her, and actually wanting to be involved with her, and spend time with her, and do all these things. So
yeah, I love that. I love that they were able to connect and they have a beautiful relationship now. And her sister was really great at dancing the parts that she was incorporated in. So
yeah, she could be a
she could be on
future dancer
in the future. But the judges commented on, the routine and it being so difficult. I think that's how Bruno started off. The routine was difficult technically, and Alex made it look easy, which is a good comment. The way that somebody can make a dance look easy and then somebody else get out there and try it and it is not easy. If you can make something hard look easy,
oh yeah,
that's
sure.
great.
Yeah.
So Carrie Ann said to watch her arms when she turns, but it was amazing. Derek said she had such maturity in her movements, and Kim said she had a different kind of freedom with this routine and that she is the surprise of the season, which Alex has been really great these past few dances and has a lot of potential. And this dance was very touching, so meaningful, and just done so well, I think. And I love the choreography Val put together on this too. So it was great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, she's still, she's still one of the top dancers for this season and continues to be a powerhouse and probably definitely one of the finalists for sure.
So scores 3 9s and 1 8. Can you guess who gave the 8?
Yeah. Carrie Ann.
Carrie Ann. What is going on, Carrie Ann?
I mean, this at least I think helped
Balance
minimize
Robert.
the blow, right? Because if it was Robert was only one in this situation, that would have definitely, I think, stood out. But
I would have been outraged. Outraged.
Yeah. So at least kind of balanced it out. I mean, I don't think there's like a witch hunt for for Robert, but
Alex is also involved.
But
in
yeah,
the witch hunt.
right. Or maybe it's just the two of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. It was a great dance.
Yeah.
Definitely deserving of the 9s.
Yeah, and then we see that nobody is eliminated. And
That would have been poor taste, probably done in poor taste if they said, "Oh, this was such a touching night. And by the way, go home."
Well, I almost want to go see like if any of the other seasons, if they
Was
sent
this
someone home.
expected?
Because if they've never done it on this, then it's something you could probably expect, right? I mean, maybe you never know, they could switch it up, right? But there's probably a high certainty that they're not going to do it if that's how it's been. So I'd like to go back and look at the other ones if that's been the case or not.
Yeah, I never paid attention enough to. I mean, that's not sticking out of my mind anyway. I don't know.
Yeah, but then I was thinking, oh well, then will they do double elimination next week, kind of like they did the first week, right? No one got eliminated, but then they're doing double the second week, so I don't know. Maybe they'll do that so that way it's still like right. It's basically
Even
one couple every week,
right?
But,
yeah, I wonder. But yeah, everybody's safe for now, and the scores will carry over to the next week from this week. And next week we see Wicked Night.
Yeah, I guess we'll see some of the character. I mean, Andy said I think he's going to be in green, so
Yeah, that'll be
We'll- I
fun.
guess we'll see some odes to their character costumes to Wicked, but
A lot of great music to come out of Wicked, so I'm excited to see who gets what song.
I guess right. They're probably going to use most of this. I would imagine most of the soundtrack. I'm
Mhm.
sure.
I just wonder who's going to take what.
Yeah, or who's going to get the
Popular. I want to be popular.
or what is that the big one that has the fancy?
Oh no.
Like who's going to get that one?
Yeah. Okay. How are these songs assigned?
Yeah.
I already can pull up who gets what. I just don't know the titles of all of them, but we have to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see like what the process is of that. Yeah.
Yeah, do they get to choose? Because that wouldn't be fair. I bet everybody be fighting over the song that you just talked about.
Right. Because it's just got the crowd appeal to really get people on your side
Right.
for the votes.
Because it's the most powerful song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
so
know. We'll see.
that'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, how much did you cry at the show?
I didn't cry at all, but
What? Robert? I couldn't even look at you during Robert. It was
well,
great that I
knew.
was face forward because
Well, I knew for sure that you were gonna be
I was
teary-eyed for that. part.
crying into my
mean,
dinner watching Robert's performance.
Yes, it was very emotional. It was,
You did not tear up during Robert, especially the part where Terry comes into the dance.
No, but it was very sweet.
I'm
dance.
like tearing up thinking about it.
Yeah, I can.
This is terrible.
Yeah, it was a very nice dance. No, I'm not taking away from it at all. It was
I
wonderful.
thought maybe you'd tear up or like get a little glassy eyed at Robert and that performance. That was when I thought would hit. I mean, it hit me the most.
Well,
That's what I
yeah.
thought it would.
I mean, I was just trying to keep my emotions in check, but no, it was a very nice dance.
And then when everybody was crying after and no one could speak, right when he was done.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to talk about this. But
I was tearing up at different parts, right? Like the beautiful thing with Cornelia, and I always know him as Daddy. He's my dad.
yeah, I mean,
don't
there was a
know,
lot of
it's like
touching
a lot of
moments,
touching.
Yeah, throughout
lot
the
of touching
night. So
moments.
yeah,
The little kids with with Dylan, the brother, and
right.
yeah, so
Yeah, well,
touching relationship songs.
we'll be a little more not so tissues needed for next week, which will be nice.
Yeah, we could just have like a fun sing along week next week.
Yeah, there we go.
Thank you so much for joining us on A Fine Podcast.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Check us out on social media if you haven't already, and like and subscribe.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you all for Wicked Week next week.
Yeah, time to get that sing-along karaoke action going.
Yeah, who's going to be Glinda? Who's going to be Elphaba?
We'll see you then.
See you then.
Ciao.
Bye.